The line was exceptional.
I've had to train to get really very, very proficient.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing New Zealand.
You're always adjusting and adapting to conditions, and that's the thing that young players perhaps don't quite realise these days.
You're listening to the Hyundai High Performance Hour.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome into the show. The next hour of Sport Lately is the Hyundai High Performance Hour as we explore the high achievers in sport, business and adventure. And on the show tonight, it's very much all about the BMX World Championships, which are underway and already proving hugely popular. I can tell you that Vector Arena is, I think, sold out for tomorrow. You can still buy tickets for Saturday and Sunday, but tomorrow, I think it's pretty much a done deal. And Del Woodford, who joins me in studio, I think you found that out, didn't you?
I did find that out.
Embarrassing confession?
Yes,
You didn't get your tickets for tomorrow organised, did you?
Oh, 3 of the 4. Which is a highlight, isn't it? When you say to your mum you'll be taken to the BMX.
This is the man that owns an Avanti Plus store. You should be sacked, for goodness sakes. I suppose you were too busy watching Tour de France.
I gave a set away today.
Thinking you'd have no issues. Anyway.
No, it's fantastic. It's sold out. I think, we weren't expecting it to sell out, Andrew, and for it to be sold out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be a sellout as well. So if you want to get along to the finals, you've got to get tickets tomorrow.
Yeah, ticketmaster.co.nz. Get your tickets and get into this. It's going to be spectacular stuff. Well, Kurt James is our guest on the show, and a little bit of background for you. Comes from a competitive cricket and rugby background at school. I guess in that sense is very much like your atypical Kiwi. But let those sports go when leaving school in 2009, and BMX racing has been his focus ever since. A member of the Bike NZ High Performance Program for 4 years, alongside fellow Avanti rider Sarah Walker. Kurt has been a regular on the UCI World Cup circuit and competing in numerous world championships from the age of 12. He joins us in studio on the Hyundai High Performance Hour. Kurt, welcome in, mate. Exciting time for the sport, eh?
Yeah, thanks very much for that. It surely is. The city of Auckland's just absolutely buzzing. It's awesome to see all these riders around the street from all these countries, so it's bloody good to see.
The only problem is you're sitting there with a microphone in front of you, not just tonight, but across the weekend as well. You're commentating, not racing, so you got to be feeling sort of a little bit annoyed about that in a sense.
Oh, I tell you what, yeah, I'm kind of waiting for it all to be over, to be honest with you. But no, it's going to be a different side of the fence to be on. But I'm actually kind of looking forward to the challenge and watching all the other New Zealanders do well from a different side.
Yeah. Now the reason you're not racing, just explain that, because you're still very much involved. You're part of the high performance program, but you're not racing because injuries earlier in the year?
Yeah, it's a new format, unfortunately, for this year, and it's just happened to fall in our home country. Usually it's top 32 at nationals, and that would have been fine. But a new selection series where they had to make it fair for everyone, not just the riders that have been overseas at those World Cups. So they ran a New Zealand selection series, and unfortunately I was injured throughout. Only got to do 2 of the 5 races, so on the sidelines it is.
Okay, and what, you're fit now though?
Yes,
which makes it even tougher for you to watch this go. So you're recovered now, injuries are behind you, and you've got a busy program for the rest of the year. Yes,
no, that's right. It was a couple of thumbs earlier on in the season, actually, in end of February. So it was a long time ago, but that's when the selection had to be done. So it was kind of heartbreaking to know that I was going to be fully fit come this time. But, yep, no, September's next trip away. Okay, well, Kurt James, our guest in studio. What do we call you? Jimmy? Stu? Fish? I've been reading your website. None of those seem to make sense with Kurt. No, well, at one stage we had 3 Kurts in the team, and Fish comes from a school background. Nobody in BMX really knows me as that, but apparently I look a little bit like Rod Stewart, so Stewart was for a little bit there. Very good. We might play a bit of Rod Stewart through the show. If you've got any questions, folks, about BMX racing and the World Champs coming up, they're already underway at Vector Arena. If you've got any questions, you can phone through on 0800 825577. And what I'll do is that you heard Del and I talking about the tickets and the fact that tomorrow's sold out. Well, guess what? I've got 3 tickets for tomorrow.
in my hand right now. So you would need to be available to go tomorrow. You would need to be able to pick these tickets up from the Radio Network Cook Street. We'll give you all of the information if you're lucky enough to win them. I'm simply going to give 3 away to 1 winner, and all you have to do is get through and have a chat, and we might give you an out of 10 score for your question. All right, how's that? Put a bit of pressure on. But if you'd like tickets for tomorrow, I've got 3. So you and a couple of mates or the kids at school holidays. So we've got 3 to give away, but you must call through 0800 8255 77. And if not this hour, we will have them to give away in the next hour. So BMX racing, were you involved in it at all at school?
Yeah, no, I was. I've been racing kind of since I was 9 or 10. I was lived on the farm, and it was mostly motocross when I was younger. Moved to town, couldn't ride my motorbike as much, so it was on to the next best thing, which I'd already started, and it was BMX. So I was kind of juggling all those sports through high school. But now it's solely BMX.
BMX is a great sport for kids to get into, whether it's they want to go on to other cycling disciplines, mountain bike and road cycling. We've got likes of Robbie McEwen, who's won the green jersey in the Tour de France, Greg Henderson leading out Andre Greipel. They started in BMX. Julian Dean started at Waihi in BMX, so it's a great skill set. But it's a great family sport. What I love about this sport is you can go there and you see these 4- 5-year-olds racing, Andrew, but dad's racing as well, mum's racing, isn't it? It's a real family environment, and at these World Champs we're going to see that with whole families taking part in this event.
That's exactly right. The funny thing kind of is that, you see the 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds out on the track, and you see their mums and dads screaming at them, telling them to pedal. They know what to do, they know what to pedal, but then when, mum and dad are out on the bike, the shoe's on the other foot, you see the little kid, screaming in the stand saying, pedal dad, and sometimes that's funny to watch,
Yeah, but I mean, that's the beauty of these championships. It's similar to triathlon, isn't it? In the sense that the age groupers all have their opportunity to win a world champs, don't they? And we're seeing that over these first few days.
Yeah, that's right. It ranges from the 5, 6 year boys all the way up to Papa Ricka, who's the eldest riding at, I'm not sure which age, but it's getting close to 70, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see.
Fantastic. We're talking BMX racing with Kurt James. The World Champs on in Auckland at Vector Arena right now. They got underway today, and tomorrow's sold out, but I've got 3 tickets here that could be yours simply by calling through. We'll take you through the art of BMX racing, what's required to be good at this sport, and also we'll look to try and take you through a lap of this very tight, very technically demanding course that they've set up inside Vector Arena. 0800 8255 77 if you'd like to join.
The guys love coming back to play at Music Point.
Ah, this is the life, eh, Doug?
Yep, only $25. Friendly people, can't beat it.
Howick Golf Club, the friendly club where green fees are only $25. Or join up as a member, that's $20 a week. Or use the flexible payment plan. Call 0800 Golf Game for details. Play golf on panoramic Music Point Peninsula, Bucklands Beach.
One day I'll go around in under 90.
Oh, plenty of time, mate. No hurry.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Hi, Mark Russell, CEO, Counties Toyota. Our spectacular Signature Class sale is now on. Not only thousands off selected Signature Class, all with the outstanding 3-year warranty, but also choose from 2 incredible add-ons, either the 2-year service plan or $500 free fuel. It's your choice.
Counties Toyota for the drive of your life.
Counties Toyota, Takanini and Pukekohe.
If your goal is to get into your first home before the end of the year, now's the time to know the right strategies. Theblueprint.co.nz can help. Time to find the right answers. Text OWN to 244. That's OWN to 244. Proudly brought to you by Oka Business.
Alert Taxis 309 2000. Streets ahead of the competition. 309 2000. Alert Taxis.
Radio Sport presents the 2013 NRL with TNT Express.
The deadliest warrior.
The warrior is caught in a storm without a raincoat. In fact, that grass skirt he's wearing will do nothing to protect him from the elements.
Who is deadliest?
Time to find out. Sunday at 2. Warriors Storm live from Mount Smart Stadium.
It's a duel to the death.
It's live and free on Radio Sport. The Hyundai High Performance Hour with Andrew Dewhurst. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Yes, Del Woodford with me in studio, and also Kurt James from the New Zealand Bike NZ High Performance Program for BMX racing. Not racing this weekend due to those injuries earlier in the year. But let's talk about the international circuit. Kurt, what races are on offer? How does a season play out for a top BMX racer?
Okay, so the UCI format, they kind of have 4 or 5 events throughout the year with world champ thrown in the middle there. So at the moment, next year's format, it looks like they have 2 American races sort of at the end of the year, which is handy, means close together. At the start of the year, it's usually 3 or 4 European races, and it's kind of every second month, sometimes one at the start and at the end of the month. So it's kind of, it's a busy period.
And is the sport growing? Is it evolving? I mean, in New Zealand, of course, through the likes of Sarah Walker and Mark Willers of late, it's getting a higher profile. We know of the silver medal from London for Sarah. So is the sport internationally growing, though?
I think it is, yeah, definitely, and more so in New Zealand with the work that Sarah and Mark and the other riders have done for the sport. You see a lot of younger riders coming through the clubs, and with this Have a Go Day and stuff like that, it certainly brought a lot of riders. Globally, it's kind of hard to tell, just because with those the World Cup events, it's only the elite riders, so you're not getting that big spread of age groups. But there's certainly a lot of riders here at the World Champs, so possibly it is, and here's hoping.
And in terms of that career path, if you like, Del, you've mentioned the fact that, I guess in a similar way to some motorsport drivers that start in karting and end up in Formula One, that BMX may well be providing the skill set to go on to other forms of the sport. But surely, as they see the likes of Sarah winning a medal at the Olympic Games, there's incentive to stay in BMX as well, isn't there? More so than there has been before.
Absolutely. Becoming an Olympic sport has done so much for the sport, and when we saw it being named in the Olympics, we saw an uptake in people wanting to participate in BMX, and new tracks being built. There's a new one in Lloyd Elsmore, in Pakuranga, that's just been built. It's going to be opening this season, and kids are getting bikes already and gearing up for it. Dads are getting the bikes as well, because they did BMX in the good old days. Yep. So they want to get their kids into it. And you're absolutely right. The skill set you learn from BMX, I think, you could go back, you could go into motocross, you can go into mountain biking, you can go into downhill mountain biking. I've mentioned the road cyclists. Those skills, I'm sure if you wanted to get into motorsport later on, being able to read the lines, judge the speed, because this sport is fast. I don't know how high that start gate is, but man, it looks terrifying from when I see it on the television.
Yeah, no, with the elite start ramp, it's just bordering on 8 metres. So the riders are hitting kind of mid-60s at the bottom, so it is quite a bit of speed coming through that bottom transition.
Mid-60Ks?
Yeah, 60Ks, yep.
On a BMX bike?
That's correct, little 20-inch.
I mean, I'm about the fastest I've gone on the Avanti Cadence, about 84Ks. And that's on a slightly bigger machine. Man, that is, and you've got that corner loop. We won't get into all the detail because we do want to talk about a lap around this course at Vector Arena. But let's talk first about the skill set required. What makes a good BMX rider? Because it seems to me that looking at the athletes, there's a wide range of physiology. You think of a sprinter on the velodrome. You know where their power plant is. It's obvious. You think of a climber in the Tour de France. Again, they have an obvious frame that's going to carry them up those mountains. But for the BMX, it looks to me as though there's quite a wide variety of shapes and sizes.
Yeah, 100% agree. The winner of the London Olympics, Maris, he's 6'2", 6'3", and he's a big boy. I'd say mid-90s to 100 kgs. In comparison to Beijing, the bronze medalist, who's about, I don't know, I'd say 5'5". So, there's a wide variety. So there's no kind of certain written rule where you're going to be a BMXer. Not like basketball, so it's anybody can get into it, which is good.
So where is the power, though? I mean, for you and your training, what are you doing outside of the actual bike riding? You're in the gym, I imagine, with some sort of a program. So where does the power come from, and where do you have to be strong to be a good BMX rider?
For sure, it is similar to kind of the sprinters on the track. It is the leg strength and stuff like that. But if you don't have the core and you don't have kind of the frame to stabilise all that power, then it's just useless. So a lot of it is kind of free weights, Olympic lifting, that sort of thing, to build up that power. And it's all about going from 0 to 100 as quick as you can, but also then have that skill set to hold on and ride the rest of the track.
So I'm just trying to envisage this 6'2" guy riding a 20-inch BMX bike. Is he at a disadvantage over the guy that's 5'4"? Coming down a ramp at 60k an hour and then having to clear a massive jump. Like, there must be some sort of...
Almost just the wind resistance would be bad enough.
That go, I'm like a power pole right on this little bike versus, someone who's more compact on the bike, maybe go through the air better. So how does that big guy get out at the start compared to the little guy to sort of get his position right on the bike?
Yeah, I guess it comes down to power to weight, to be honest. That big guy is probably a hell of a lot stronger than the little guy, but as long as he's got that power to weight right, then it doesn't matter at the bottom of the ramp kind of thing, and it's all about getting out in front and holding that line.
And in terms of the skill required, so, I guess the start is critical. Is it fair to say you may not necessarily win every race with a good start, but if you have a bad start, you've probably lost the race, haven't you? Unless they all fall off in front of you. Pretty
much, yeah. But to be honest, that does happen, so you never give up. But how I kind of explain it is, imagine kind of like a 100-metre sprinting event or a 50-metre freestyle in the pool, but take out the lanes. You might have you might have a strong finish, but it doesn't matter if you cut off, kind of thing. So you do need to get out. You do need to get out in front. But if it's not the be all and end all, but it's pretty hard to come through if somebody's in your lane.
How physical is it? And I mean that in terms of the contact, because, again, the vision that we've seen in recent years of the Tour de France has opened the eyes to a lot of people about sprinters and just how physical it is, the bashing, the butting of heads, the shoulder to shoulder, riding at 70k an hour on cobblestones at times. How much of that happens in BMX? How strong do you have to be to say, this is the piece of track I'm on and you ain't having it?
It's only got more so over the years. We used to have lanes down the start ramp, and you used to have to stay in those lanes. And then when you got to the end of the ramp, it was free for all. But now there's no lanes. So if you get out, you get your elbows wide, and you want to own that track. As for rules, anything goes as long as you keep your hands and feet on the pedals. So elbows, shoulders, anything like that, you want to own that, your bubble around the track. So it's hugely physical, and nothing more so than here in Auckland on a tight track.
So what's the attitude that's got to go with that? You can't sort of, I won't sort of get too much into that guy's rate because he might fall off. You'd have to be pretty ruthless, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. You need to be in a good space stepping down onto that ramp. You want to be relaxed, but you need to be 100% confident in your ability that you're going to get out and you're going to back yourself. If you're getting on the gate looking at who's next to you, then you might as well step back off and go sit in the pits because you're never going to do that well. So it just comes down to, I guess, backing your ability and getting out in front, which is the ultimate.
And I mean, with all of that, of course, comes the risk of a crash or two. You've talked about the injuries that you've had already this year. So is that an occupational hazard, that there are a fair few bumps and bruises? I mean, Sarah's, of course, looking to try and recover so quickly, if she does, from this fractured arm that she's had. So it must be part of the business, is it?
It is, and to be honest, I've been quite lucky. Most of my injuries are kind of fingers, and a lot of that was schoolboy cricket. So a lot of my friends have probably spent just as much time in hospital as they have out on the track. But I've considered myself quite lucky. But it is part and parcel of the sport. You are going to crash. Kind of the more you push and the faster you try and go, it's just going to happen. And it's a good reminder to tell yourself that you are pushing your own limits if you are crashing. If you're not crashing, then you're not going fast enough.
So how do you get in the zone? It's a really short race, 30-odd seconds. We see riders or athletes in other sports really warming up so they can hit full speed. In a 30-second race, you're waiting at the top of the gate. How do you get into the zone? How do you get your body prepared so you can, get out of the gate full speed without, sort of that lactate building up or whatever, and be mentally sharp? So, how does that process work from the time you're in your pit area to the top of the gate, getting dialed in, warmed up?
That's pretty much what it comes down to. You said the mental aspect, and a lot, there's 100 guys that can ride their bike just as well, and it comes down to who's really got that top 2 inches on the day. And there's no written rule of how you get into that kind of mindset. Just two differences of Sarah Walker, who's, finds herself nice and relaxed in the pits, having a joke with some of the other riders and tries to stay quite calm. in comparison to, say, Mark Willers, who's in the corner of the tent in his zone, focused. You could say, how you doing, Mark? He's not going to hear you. He's 100% focused until he walks up onto that gate. So I guess it comes down to what you find suits yourself, but it's a hard balance to get to. I mean, I've tried both ways, tried to be relaxed, tried to be 100% in the zone, and they both went either way. There's nothing kind of set in stone. So that's what I'm trying to develop at the moment, but more of a routine, consistency.
Is there? I'll never forget talking with Ivan Major, and this is, I guess, it's kind of similar. The speedway bikes. It was very quick. It was very rapid fire. You had to be quick out of the gate. And ultimately the bikes were pretty even, that they were all on. And Ivan Major, I don't know if he knew it at the time, but he was one of the original sledgers. He was one of the original intimidators with the way that he would walk around the pits and stare some of the other guys down, and just a word or two would make them realise, here's the top dog, he's the guy we've got to look for. Is there a bit of that goes on, or is there a bit of the 100-metre sprinters lining up and everyone, puffing out the biceps? Is that going on?
Yeah, no, that certainly goes on, for sure. You get the guys walking around, and you'd think they've got canoes under their arms kind of thing. The arms are out, shoulders are back, chins up, but then I guess that can work against you as well if you're like that and you put a whole lot of pressure on yourself.
Oh, you've got to be able to back it up. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And it only takes one trip, and then suddenly those canoes are gone, and you're in a hole, and it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
So you've got that mental aspect going on. You've got that bravo and that. But what about the actual warm-up? Are you on wind trainers? Like for a 200-metre track sprinter, Andrew, before they get out on the track, they're on their turbo trainers warming up. The pursuiters their body's 100% hot, so they can hit full gas straight away. Are you guys doing that?
Yeah, 100%. We're lucky that we have a set routine of when we know the gate's dropping. So we work back from that start point, and it's kind of, 30, 45 minutes out, you start preparing. Each athlete has their own little traits that they work with, but it's usually, on the foam roller, and then you're slowly building up. A lot of guys are sitting there with headphones on, listening to the music, but there is a set routine of what we follow.
So what do you do? How long are you on the rollers for? And for people that don't know, that literally is, you're riding a bike stationary on some rollers underneath the wheels. So how long would you be on the stationary bike before that gate drops? And is it a BMX, or is it just any bike to get the body going?
It's any bike, yeah. It's just you're trying to keep the legs going, really. For me, I don't want to sit on it any more than kind of 5 minutes, and we have to walk up, those 8 metres to get to the top of the ramp. So when we get called, you want to get those legs spinning, but then you want to stay warm, go straight to the top. Sometimes the mechanics there to lift our bike to the top. So there is a set process, but each individual athlete is a little bit different. Some actually don't like sitting on the bike. They'd rather be out in the fresh air doing laps, in the warm-up area and stuff like that. So it does come down to preference.
Let's go to the phones, and Dom's joined us with a question or a comment. G'day, Dom. How you doing?
Hi. Mula, I'm from Fiji.
Oh, fantastic. Are you here for the BMX racing?
We are. We haven't bought a team, but we've got a couple of officials here to come and have a look at actually setting up BMX in Fiji.
Fantastic.
There's no facilities there at the current time. So, looking at the stuff that's been done, we've been visiting some of the tracks around Auckland, and very impressed. And I'd just like to echo the point about families. It comes across very strong when visiting the tracks, just looking at practice, and you've got a 4-year-old who's probably a metre high next to a 6'6" guy weighing about 120 kilos. Practicing on the track together, and that's really brought it home to me of how much a family event it was, how family sport it is. Yeah.
Oh, and were you out at Vector Arena today?
I haven't been to Vector Arena yet. I'll be there on the weekend. We've got an Oceania meeting around the same time, so we'll be there for the elites. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of work. I've still got a daytime job, so we're doing a bit of work here as well.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy it, and I'm sure that you'll get some great ideas and thoughts and concepts to take back to Fiji, because I guess there's an opportunity to grow the sport through the Pacific Island nations as well. If you've got a question or a comment for Kurt James, you can ring us on 0800 8255 77. We've got 3 tickets to give away for tomorrow's racing. It is sold out. You can buy tickets for Saturday and Sunday, but we've got 3 tickets to give away for tomorrow's racing. You'd have to pick them up from us here at the Radio Network in Cook Street. But call through with a question or a comment and you're in the draw.
There's one business telco that's growing very fast thanks to the big guys who keep sending them customers. Customers who need complete business solutions with the latest technology and fanatical support. And this telco has the highest loyalty in the country, which means very happy customers. So who is this telco that's doing so well in our islands? Digital Island. Visit digitalisland.co.nz or call 0800 999 010.
IRL Pipes bring you the finest pipes from around the world.
The bagpipes, the instrument you either love or hate. Although synonymous with Scotland, bagpipes have been played for centuries throughout large parts of Europe, the Persian Gulf and Africa. Bagpipes were once used by the Scots to scare away their enemies on the battlefield. However, bagpipes were actually banned in Scotland twice, in 1560 and 1740.
IRL Pipes don't play the bagpipes, but they are the experts in installing industrial piping. Visit irlpipes.co.nz.
Action Direct Physiotherapy told me they'd have me back on my feet in no time. Explain everything so I knew what was going on along the way. They're pretty hands-on. They call it manual therapy. So I says, I'll be back scoring goals for the soccer team in no time, eh? Yep, they reply. Good, because I don't score any now, being a goalie and all. They even laughed at my joke.
Action Direct Physiotherapy at actiondirect.co.nz.
Find out who's playing and when it's on the radio. Woo-hoo! Check the Radio Sport commentary schedule. Find it at radiosport.co.nz. The Hyundai High Performance Hour. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Yeah, welcome into the show. Our website is hph.co.nz. Now, if you've missed a show at any time, you can go back and we've got our interviews there for you online, and you can go back and listen to any of those shows, one of which, of course, already this year is Sarah Walker, who rides Avanti, and so too does Kurt James, who is with us in studio talking the BMX. How long have you been with Avanti? Just recently?
Yeah, very recent. It's just this year, so excited to be on board with the New Zealand brand.
And so the 2014 frame set, have you been on it yet, or are you going to take it away with you soon?
No, I've been on it, yes. Yeah.
Cool. And going good?
No, fantastic. Yeah, no, I love it.
How cool is that and I know this fella's biased, he's got Avanti Plus on his shirt, surprise, surprise, tonight. He runs one of the stores, but how good is it as an elite athlete to be a part of a New Zealand brand? Does it mean anything to you or not?
Oh, of course. You know, when you're overseas representing not only your country for yourself, but to have your brand that's backing you, and it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit more of a personal journey. So I think it's huge.
Fantastic. If it can help you guys speed a little more quickly to the finish line, then more power to it. Let's go to the phones. G'day, Grant.
Yeah, Kurt. Looking at the news last night, the course looks very tight, and the certainly start isn't too high, and the jumps are quite low. How has this affected the riders, and has it made an advantage to anybody so far?
Good question, Grant. And first thing we should point out is that the start gate that you're seeing is not the start gate the elites will go from, is it, Kurt?
No, that's correct, yeah.
So you fire away, answer Grant's question about the nature of the course.
It is an indoor track, so naturally the track is going to be a little bit shorter than, say, a big outdoor course, just due to the seats and stuff in there. So it is a little bit narrower, it's a little bit shorter, the jumps are a little bit flatter. So it is going to kind of benefit those technical riders that can hold their speed around in a tight course, but it does come down even more so. Shorter first straight, you do want to get out in front.
And that start gate, though, for the elites, we were talking about it just in the break, it goes to how high? At the moment, we think it's around 5 metres for the age groupers, but it goes to where for the elites?
Yeah, it'll be bumped up to that 8 metre mark. So
8 metres?
Yep, no, that's Olympic spec, UCI spec.
So, Grant, what you're seeing now is not the start gate that you'll see the elites go from, so it'll be even more spectacular.
So how high is the start gate at the moment?
We think it's about 5. We're guessing.
Pretty high, though, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, yes.
Too high for me.
Yeah, exactly. Measure that. I mean, that really would be. Grant, appreciate you. Where are you calling from, Grant?
Just one more question.
Yeah, go on then.
So that makes the starting positions even more important. The higher the gate.
The lanes?
Yeah, the lanes. To start when you draw your lane.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So when you start going through those qualifiers, where you finish across the line is going to give you lane choice for those next races.
Right.
So there's nothing more important than doing well in those early races to set you up for the rest of the day.
And one more question. Cycling is sort of renowned for drugs. Is there much of that happening that you know of in BMX? Performance-enhancing drugs?
I certainly hope not. No, BMX has kind of got a little bit of that bad boy image with the tattoos and stuff like that, but it's certainly clean, and I know the sport kind of prides itself on that fact.
So being a good family sport, that should all help.
Exactly. Yep.
Good stuff, Grant. Appreciate your call. And I'll stress here that Kurt's not the spokesperson for drug-free BMX cycling. I mean, that's like... and, man, I'll tell you what, baseball has got some issues at the moment. We'll talk about that after 10 o'clock. Did you see that on the news tonight, Del?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there's Ryan Braun, I think the bloke's name is, superstar in baseball. And he's been saying for about 3 or 4 years that he's clean. No, he's not.
Brenda Lance is...
I think so. I think so. But BMX is all good, Grant. All good. Good, wholesome family sport. And the elite level, it's just going great guns at the moment as well. Let's go to Gerard. Hi, Gerard. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Have you got a question or a comment for Kurt?
Pardon?
Have you got a question or a comment for Kurt?
Yeah, I do. What do you think one of the hardest tricks you could do on a BMX would be?
I'm going to have to pass on that. We're BMX racers, so we try and stay away from the tricks as we find it hard enough to stay on two wheels as it is. So anything that kind of comes down to tricks, we tend to stay away from.
Oh, yeah.
Are you into your trick riding, Gerard?
Yeah, I go like T-Pie every day, I'm like so into it. Like I love biking so much. Like I'd give it up for anything. I'll do anything just to keep biking, I love it so much.
Well, we'll flip the question round. What's the toughest trick you've done?
Well, I'm like a starter at BMXing, but it's probably a 360. That's like probably the hardest. It's not that hard, but like that's the hardest I've done.
I'll tell you what, if I went off the start ramp on a BMX, you'd see more than a 360. You'd see a big mess at the end of it as well. But thanks for your call. Appreciate it, mate. It's 18 away from 10 o'clock. This is the Hyundai High Performance Hour. We're talking with Kurt James, a member of the Bike NZ High Performance BMX racing squad. Not racing this weekend. Injuries earlier in the year kept him away from earning enough qualifying points, but he'll be part of the commentary team on Sky Sport. Covering the UCI World Championships. We've got 3 tickets for tomorrow's racing, and if you call through with a question, we'll put you in the draw and we'll announce a winner by the end of this hour. Not midnight, but this hour, because we want you to have time, get yourself organised, get a couple of mates, perhaps the kids, and come on into town, pick up the tickets. Let's talk about a lap around this course then. In Auckland, a tight course, a stadium course, 8-metre start ramp. You've mentioned the fact that, and it's these things that you just take for granted. I thought, you just get to the start. But you put it into perspective. You've got to climb the steps to get to the start. So that literally, you've got to manage that part of the process, haven't you? Because that could take something out of you.
And they don't make those steps friendly either. Those steps usually are the most rickety things you've ever seen put together with a bit of scaffolding. So sometimes that's the scariest part of getting up there.
So by now I expect you've got the headphones off. You know, you've turned the iPod off, and you're very much focusing on what the job in hand, and that's getting to the top of the ramp. So let's go through it for someone that's never seen the sport, and there will be so many people in that category. From the moment you are called from the warm-up area, how much time have you got? What plays out as you make your way towards the top of the start ramp?
For me, you're trying to go from, in that period of where you're in your tent to the bottom of the ramp, picking your lane in the shortest amount of time. The earlier you get to the bottom of the ramp, for me, it's the more you start thinking about other things that you shouldn't be. You're not in that zone. So it's straight away, they're pretty good at calling, which time you're getting up there. So it's the bottom of the steps. You pick your lane at the bottom. You've seen the rest of the racers who you're racing against in front of you or behind you picking their lanes also, so you know where you're going to be. You slot yourself in, get up those stairs, and for me it's just about getting that breathing under control, getting to the top really as quick as I can, having a breath at the top, and it's just you get settled into that lane. For me, it's looking through that first jump, picking that line where I'm going to be heading. That gate comes up. You want to get on, get set up, get in your position, get those pedals in position. You know, we've all got individual starting positions.
So how's the bike got up there? Obvious question. I know it might be a dumb question, but how's the bike got up there?
Usually I would carry it myself, or the mechanic or somebody would get it up there for you, depending on how kind of dodgy the steps are. Sometimes we're privileged and we only have to go up maybe 1 or 2 flights. Indoor arenas, usually we can. But if it's an outdoor arena, you got to start from the bottom.
Okay. So, all right. So you're at the top. You're in your start box, I guess. Are you there while there's another race going off in front of you? How does that work from a timing point of view? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. If you're the first moto called in the elite men category, usually the women have gone before you. So you've slotted in behind them. They're on the gate. Once they've gone, that gate comes straight back up. And you move into position. Yep, like a sprinter gets into his blocks, pretty much. And how? What's the start? Is it like a sprinter? Do you get a on your marks set and the gate drops? What do you hear? There's a set call which is standard throughout all the UCI events, and it's a cadence that plays with the same voice. It's the same timing, but the last part is what they call a random start. So once the cadence is finished and it says watch the lights, kind of like a motocross start, that gate can go between either 0 straight away or 3 seconds. Okay. And I tell you what, when you're at the top of 8 metres, 3 seconds is a bloody long time. Okay, so literally what are you hearing? You're in the for our listeners, you're in the start. Now literally tell me what you hear. Cool, the starter will make a call, and then it's, okay, riders, random start. Riders ready. Watch the lights, and then there's that 0 to 3 seconds. Yes. Okay, so it really does sort of cue you up. Are you able to sit on the gas, so to speak, or if you put pressure on the gate in front of you, does that register a false start? How does that work? No, I mean, you can try and push it down if you like. Oh, you can? Yeah, okay. But you're certainly not going to. Yeah. And it's only going to cause you to come out of that gate a little bit crooked. If you're putting pressure on, because the pedals are split. So if you're putting a lot of pressure, you're going to find it hard to balance. Okay, also. So the trick is what? The trick is being in a position where obviously it's a reaction, and the moment the gate drops, you are power down and in a straight line if you can. That's right. You want to be in quite a neutral position on your pedals. You don't want too much pressure on that front foot, because you are going to be fighting with your bike, because you are standing up at this stage. You're kind of leaning back into a position where you're at the back of a slingshot kind of thing. You want to get going and get out of that gate as fast as you can, as quick as you can, to get up to speed and to get halfway down that ramp and start owning your space. So, sorry, Del, I'm dominating this because I'm just fascinated by it. But so when you say you're standing up, are you balancing, or are you in a stand of some sort? Yeah, no, so there's no brace, nothing like that. Our front wheels are up against that gate. So that just gives you a little bit of torque and you just balance the bike. Exactly, and because it's a bit of a downhill slope, your front wheel is in between kind of corrugated iron, grate type things, which gives you a little bit of grip. That front wheel's not going to move anywhere. So you're just standing tall, pop tall, you're ready. Great explanation of the pedal position. I've always wondered, because from a track cycling background as a kid, seeing that the sprinters start, pedal positions are totally different. And I've always looked at it and gone, there's a big loss of power in BMX at the start gate because there's no pressure on the front pedal. Kirk's just explained why. Because of the slope, the slingshot effect, they're not having to drive out of the gate like a track cyclist trying to get off the mark, because they've got some propulsion there. But when you're on that gate, the riders go too early and go over the gate. Is it, Yeah, no, definitely. You're getting so focused in, like, we watch the lights, and especially in an indoor arena, but some people do listen to the beeps. There is a beep cadence and there are lights. I prefer the lights because it's less distraction. You're focused on one thing. But if you're listening to beeps, if you're in an indoor arena, people's phones are going off, there's air horns, stuff like that. And if you're ready to go, you're caffeined up, you're ready to go. Anything can set you off, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
We're
It's
talking
funny to watch.
Talking BMX racing with Kurt James as we talk about the UCI BMX World Championships at Vector Arena. Already some great results out there, I have to say. New Zealand age group is winning World Championship titles. The elites will get into it, Saturday, Sunday? Is that pretty much their domain?
Yeah, Saturday's going to be the time trial, so it's just individuals out on the track. Sunday, it's racing time.
Fantastic. We've got some tickets to give away for tomorrow's action, and it is sold out, I believe, but you can buy tickets for the remainder of the event. But we've got some tickets for tomorrow. If you'd like to be in that draw, simply call through with a question for Kurt, 0800 825577. This is the Hyundai High Performance Hour. More with Kurt James next.
Now, tell me more about yourself, John.
Well, firstly, I'm 39 years old and I lead a small accountancy firm.
Interests?
Fine wine, fine food, cars, boats, everything fine, really. Very fine putt.
Have you got a driving ambition to meet your match? Matchpoint is Auckland's leading personalised dating agency, whose professional team aim to tee you up with the perfect match from their network of singles.
I think it's time to hit the 19th hole.
Get your game on today. See matchpoint.co.nz.
Hi, I'm Jo Gear, winemaker for the New Zealand Wine Society, and I'm joined by Vic Williams, long-time wine consultant, author and our cellar director.
Hello, Joe.
Now, Vic, let's talk quality.
Well, Joe, quality's paramount. That's why our panel judges every wine we sell. Our wines have to be of a bronze medal standard or higher.
So even if it's a big name but not worthy of a bronze?
We won't stock it.
Even if they offer it to us really cheap?
Not a show. Bronze standard or nothing.
So if you only want top wine at great prices, visit nzwinesociety.co.nz.
Take a look under the bonnet of any V8 and you'll find a motor, transmission and differential gearbox. Take a look at SEW Eurodrive and you'll find the leaders in electric drive systems for manufacturing and processing nationwide. SEW Eurodrive are the people who supply the right electric motor and geared unit control system custom built for your needs. And proud sponsors of motorsport. SEW Eurodrive, driving New Zealand industry.
Sport in August on Radio Sport. We follow the Warriors in the NRL.
Where's the ball next to the uprights?
USPGA Golf. The Tall Blacks take on the Boomers of Australia.
That's a big-time three-pointer.
The Rowing World Champs. The Louis Vuitton Cup Final from San Francisco.
Pulsating action like we've never seen before.
And as always, we've got rugby. The ITM Cup and the Rugby Championship. Stay tuned for your sporting fix. August on Radio Sport. The Hyundai High Performance Hour with Andrew Dewhurst. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
Yeah, welcome into the show, Andrew Dewhurst. Del Woodford with me in studio through until midnight, but also joining us right now for the Hyundai High Performance Hour is Kurt James. If you want to be a winner, not just with the tickets that we've got to give away tonight, but go to our Facebook page, like us, and answer this easy question. Far out. I got to push people a bit more. Where in Auckland is the 2013 BMX World Championships being held? All right, simple as that. So go to hph.co.nz, hph.co.nz. That'll take you, if you find the link, through to the Facebook page, like it, answer that question, and we've got a voucher for either one of our quiz night bars, actually, from Wellington, Christchurch or Auckland, $50 bar tab. So that might be nice after the weekend. You probably earn a couple of quiets after the weekend of commentating.
Yeah, I wish, but it's plenty of races on the horizon, so it's not really worth it for me.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. Jolly good. Kurt James with us as we take you through a lap. We've kind of, and if I have that many questions, we'll never get there. So I better shut up for a little bit. But so the start's gone, the gates dropped, and away you go. You're on that downward 8-metre drop to get things underway. So at what point? Take us through it. At what point do you actually stop pedaling and you've got sort of maximum momentum and it's all about now control and position?
Yeah, right. So the key is you've got out of the gate, you've got your breathing, your body position, everything's fine. You're on the gas, head down, pedaling. You want to get your own space down that ramp. Everyone's trying to get to that inside line. You're safe on the inside. You want to pedal all the way to the bottom of the hill. So
you do pedal the whole way through. Okay.
Yep. You want to get right to the bottom, squeeze in as many pedals as you can. You cannot pedal through the transition because you've got too much kind of inertia and weight coming through. You kind of get sucked down to your bike. So if you try and squeeze one more pedal in, it's usually ending in tears for you.
Yeah, because you're just going to end up
flat
on your face almost.
That 12-metre jump sitting down.
Okay, so typically then the first part of the track is, after the drop, is a jump, which will set you up for the first corner, yeah?
Yeah, well, it does depend. Usually the bottom of the ramp, you get a little bit of space, depending how much space you could get a pedal in before the first jump. And that first jump, you're wanting to stay low. You want to get on the ground basically as quick as you can.
That's the thing, isn't it? They do talk about it. You've got to get the wheel on the ground as quick as you can.
Yeah, I mean, you want to jump to get across, but you're not really generating any speed, Your bike's
in the
going
air.
forward when you're pedaling.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you want to get down and low.
Okay, cornering. We're going to run out of time here. I want to sort of keep you on air for longer, but the art of cornering, what is it? Is it? Are you steering or are you turning with the body?
A bit of both. There's not all that much steering going on. It's more you're leaning into the corner and using that apex of the corner to generate a bit of speed, and you're pumping through the corner with your body. But the aim of the game is to get back on those pedals as quick as you can, get yourself set up, picking that spot when you get out of the corner, setting yourself up for the inside line on that next corner, and it's all about just holding your own space.
And from there, really, it's just don't go into oxygen debt and keep your form and hold on to the finish. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about BMX is it's not too long.
30 odd seconds.
Yeah, that's right. So you pretty much just try and hold on. You don't really want to think about holding on because you'll end up making a mistake if you're out in front. So it's just staying calm, composed, and it'll all work out, hopefully.
Good stuff, mate. As I say, I wish we could talk to you for a lot longer, but we're out of time. It's flown by, as indeed the BMX World Champs will. If you blink, you'll miss some of this action. So get to Vector Arena and you'll see some great action. Mate, good luck for the rest of the year with your international campaign, and you'll be right. Get through the weekend, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much.
You'll be right. Kurt James with us, who's not able to ride this weekend, but will be riding internationally for New Zealand later in the year. Back in a moment to wrap things up on the Hyundai High Performance Hour.
Bike Bun's 20th birthday sale on now. There's half price store-wide. All bikes, all cycle clothing, all accessories, half price. Get in for great birthday savings and celebrate with Bike Bun. The best deals on two wheels. Exclusions apply.
The two newest sales staff are number 1 and number 2. They can't believe their luck and certainly can't believe their incomes. They love coming to work and we love their success. Do you love going to work? Maybe a career at City Sales is the answer. You'd be surprised who works here. Cops, lawyers, designers, teachers, tradies, even a chef. And they never look back. Call Martin, Michael, Pauline 30 30 601 and never look back.
CitySales.co.nz.
Licensed real estate agent.
IRL Pipes bring you the finest pipes from around the world.
The Banzai Pipeline, or Pipeline as it's known, the world-famous surf break in Hawaii. Home to the Billabong Pipeline Masters, the final event of the ASP World Tour. Notable surfers to earn their reputation at Pipeline include world champion Sonny Garcia and Kelly Slater.
IRL Pipes can't surf, but they are the experts in installing industrial piping. Visit irlpipes.co.nz.
Might have been backing the trailer and straining to get a good look. You might have tried to do the firewood in one trip instead of 4. You might have tried to carry a 10-year-old on your shoulders like you used to years ago. At Physio Rehab Group, they don't worry about what you did or how you did it. They're just concerned about getting movement back in your life as soon as, if not sooner. They have 15 branches, Auckland-wide, open 7 days. Go to physiorehabgroup.co.nz.
Bike Bun's 20th birthday sale on now. There's half price store-wide. All bikes, all cycle clothing, all accessories, half price. Get in for great birthday savings and celebrate with Bike Bun. The best deals on two wheels. Exclusions apply.
The Hyundai High Performance Hour. Proudly brought to you by Hyundai New Zealand.
So don't forget our website, hph.co.nz. My thanks again to Kurt James, who will be out there as a part of the Sky commentary team over the weekend. Get out and see the action. You can still buy tickets at ticketmaster.co.nz. We've got those tickets to give away. I'll tell you what, Grant is going to be our winner. So congratulations, Grant. We've got those 3 tickets. We'll be on the phone to give you the details as to where you need to come in and pick them up. But congratulations, Grant. 3 tickets for you tomorrow, Vector Arena, for the UCI BMX World Championships. But get to our website for more information. I think we've probably got a link to Kurt's website there with his profile. You can find out a little bit more about Kurt, one of the Avanti riders, and we are very proud to be a part of that Avanti team as well here at Sport Lately. News coming up next on Radio Sport, then we'll open the lines for your calls with myself and Del Woodford.